I'm Heather Zimmerman. I'm a multidimensional soul facilitator and the founder of Divine Ascension Company, where I work with people to help them understand their soul's journey, clear what's blocking them, and step into their purpose with more clarity and confidence. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the Akashic Records, what they are, how they work, how I access them, and a few of the biggest misconceptions that I run into. If you've never heard of the Akashic Records before, that's totally fine. By the end of this, you'll have a really clear picture of what they are and why people find them so useful. So, what are they? Well, the simplest way I can describe the Akashic Records is this. Imagine a universal library that contains the complete history of every soul that has ever existed. Every experience, every choice, every lifetime, every lesson, it's all recorded there. The word Akasha itself comes from Sanskrit and refers to the primary substance that everything in the universe is made of. Think of it as an energetic fabric of existence. The records are held within that fabric. They're not necessarily a physical place. They're more like a field of consciousness, an energetic database, if you want to think of it that way. I personally like to call it sources memory banks. But it exists beyond time and space. That means that the records contain not only just your past, but also your present and the full range of potential futures that are available to you based on where you are right now in your journey. Every soul has its own record, and those records contain things like your soul's blueprint, what you came here to do, what you're here to learn, and what gifts you've brought in for this lifetime. They contain things like patterns that have been running across multiple lifetimes, information about relationships, about contracts that you've made with other people at a soul level, and about what's blocking you and what's ready to shift. How are they accessed? Well, accessing the Akashic Records is done through a very specific, intentional process. It's not something that just happens accidentally. Most practitioners, myself included, use a sacred prayer or meditation to open and shift our consciousness into the frequency of the records. Think of it like tuning a radio to a specific station, and that prayer or meditation is how you tune in. Once I'm in, I'm working in a receptive state, meaning that I'm not thinking or analyzing any of the information. I'm simply listening and receiving. Information comes through in different ways and for different practitioners. For me, it comes through as knowing. Sometimes it comes through as images or visions, as words. Sometimes it's a felt sense that I feel in my body. And then I translate that energy, that information that I receive, and relay it to the client. The records are always read with a very specific intention or question in mind. The more specific that your question is, the clearer the information that comes through. I always open a client's record with their permission. That's very important. You don't access someone's records without their consent. Even if you're accessing your own records, they'll only share what is pertinent to your journey at this time. And you have to be not only in a clear, receptive state, but you also have to have the highest intentions. And then when the session is complete, I close the records very intentionally, the same way that I opened them. So what can you actually find out through the Akashic Records? This is the part that most people are usually very curious about. What can I actually learn from an Akashic Records reading? Well, some of the most common things that people come to me for are understanding what their soul purpose is, why they're here on this planet at this time, and what they're meant to be doing. Understanding patterns that keep repeating in their life, like the same relationship dynamics, the same blocks around money or visibility or confidence, and where those patterns actually come from. And sometimes they originate in this lifetime, sometimes they go back even further. People also come to understand that their relationships and what that dynamic looks like at a soul level, why certain connections feel so significant, whether there's past life history with someone or what a particular relationship is here to teach them. And a lot of people come simply wanting to know, what do I need to know most right now? What does my soul want me to know that I haven't been hearing? What does it need me to learn or know to continue on with my journey? The records don't tell you what to do. That's very important. They don't make decisions for you. What they do is they give you information, a much wider view of your own story from a broader perspective and a higher dimensional perspective so that you can make more informed and aligned choices from a place of understanding rather than a state of confusion, which is typically the state that people are in when they come in for a reading. Some of the common misconceptions about Akashic Records. Let me address a few things that I hear a lot. The first one is that Akashic Records are scary or that accessing them is dangerous. They're not. The records exist at a very high vibration. They're held in love, not in fear. And there's nothing dark about them. A well-trained practitioner opens and closes them with a clear intention, and that process is completely safe. The second misconception is that Akashic reading is like a psychic prediction, that I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen for you. And that's not how it works either. The records show you the energy and patterns that are currently active and the range of possibilities that are available to you. Your free will is always intact. The future is not fixed. It's responsive to the choices that you make. The third one is that you have to have some kind of special ability to benefit from a reading or even to access your own records. Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't. The records are available to everyone. They're your records. Some people choose to work with a trained practitioner to access them, and some people learn to access their own, and both are completely valid paths. Another misconception that I hear a lot too is that if a practitioner, say, opens your records and reads your records, that their energy is going to get mixed into your records or it's going to affect them somehow. And I want to tell you that that's not going to happen either. If you don't access them yourself and you go through a trained practitioner, they know how to access the information without affecting anything, without drawing in your energy or vice versa. So it is a very completely safe process as long as you know what you're doing. The reason why I love this work so much, this is one of my favorite things to do for my clients, is because it gives people a framework for understanding their own life that goes beyond what they can see from where they've been standing or where they're at right now. When someone understands why a pattern has been running in their life, when they see the bigger arc of their soul's journey, something shifts within them and they stop fighting themselves and start working with themselves. And if you're curious about the Akashic Records or about working with me, you can find me at Divine Ascension Company. I would love to connect with you. Thank you so much for watching.